Good evening, I'm a dead pop icon, returning to the earthly plane, from the spirit world, to interview the invisible lip syncer, the long-lost imaginary friend, of Stéphane des Lauriers. This interview is all done, with digital robots, and no humane beings, were used, abused, or run over by a bus in the faking, or rather making, of this video. My voice has been transposed, to that of an ambiguous young boy.
Good evening, Mr. Dead Pop Icon. I appear, or appear to appear, as the unknown founder of MusicKingdom.com. A fledgling record company.
Alright then. What genre, would you say, your music is?
My music is eclectic. When I post to SoundCloud I usually have to invent a genre, because my style is so radical. Often, I classify it as exotic robotics, or faux folk music. As in faux, fur.
I understand, you send your imaginary friend, the invisible lip syncer to perform at an open mic. Is that a fact?
That was because of the pandemic. I got tired of waving a yardstick over poster board lyrics. So I decided to send my imaginary friend, the invisible lip syncer, to perform on my behalf. I just sent in a sound file for them to play in my stead.
Reese Darko dubbed you the OG open micer and you perform at open mics in Las Vegas.
I'm one of the few people on Instagram using my real name, it is Stefan not Stefan. And my last name is Deslauriers. I added a space between Day and Lauriers to give it some breathing room and also sound aristocratic. I imagined my ancestors sailed down the St. Lawrence and set up a chain of lumberjack franchises in Quebec after they escaped the French Revolution.
You are not only a musician but a writer as well. You have published 4 books. Symphony in A-flat Tire, a slightly embellished autobiography, Carousel Wind, the musical, and The Yodeling Frog, and Other Atrocities, a book of poetry and songs. Not to mention, Junkyard in the Sky, literary space debris.
You can buy them at Amazon.com, and Lulu.com. That last book, Junkyard in the Sky Literary Space Debris, is available for $129. That's an outrageous price for the worst poetry on earth.
I have looked at some of the 350 videos you have up on YouTube.com at Carousel Wind's channel, and in some of them you appear to be shaking. Is that stage fright?
No, it isn't stage fright. I have Parkinson's, but Parkinson's does not have me. I had a neurostimulator installed and it stops the shaking, but doesn't help my voice. I have lost my voice. That's why I am forced to use robotic voices to sing my songs.
Could you read one of your poems? How about Sawing That Green Nickel Guitar in Half? The story I heard from a rock star who lived 2 doors up from your boyhood home in Milton, Ontario, is that your brother actually saw the guitar in half while you were playing it. What was the song you were playing?
The song was Cold Turkey. Sawing That Old Green Nickel Guitar in Half, by Stéphane des Lauriers. Zeke the Freak, and his GWG jacket and jeans, got a green nickel guitar, that he can't play, but sprayed it orange to match his flaming, frizzy hair. It's everywhere, beyond compare, or repair. S.K. des Lauriers, and his orange Elvis Presley pants, bought a genuine rubber army surplus, maxi coat, that's too big, but we'll barter, for the guitar. Didn't we all have a laugh, sawing that old green guitar in half? It cost a nickel, but was worth a dime, and we had a good time, yeah, and we had a good time, hoot and holler. Zeke the Freak, and the Green Garment shot down Milton one hot day, with the Victoria Park cannon. Meanwhile SK threatened to turn said garment, into a poetry coat. Didn't we all have a laugh, sawing that old green guitar in half? It cost a nickel, but was worth a dime, and we had a good time, yeah, and we had a good time. Hoot and holler. Zeke rides a motorbike with SK on the back, waving a pitchfork down his lane, swerving on the wet grass to avoid a cat and hitting the house, at 5 miles per hour, cutting finger. Didn't we all have a laugh, sawing that old green guitar in half? It cost a nickel, but was worth a dime, and we had a good time, yeah, and we had a good time. Hoot and holler. In a stone barn SK kicks planks to the ceiling, with steel toe boots walks through the snow, with Zeke and the dogs killing bulrush soldiers, with a stick sword. And crossing the brook on a fence. Didn't we all have a laugh, sawing that old green guitar in half? It cost a nickel, but was worth a dime, and we had a good time, yeah, and we had a good time. Hoot and holler. At a barn dance a drunk man said, Zeke looked like Eric the Red, but he couldn't fight his way, from a wet paper bag, oh yeah, from a wet paper bag. Hoot and holler.
That must have been one of your songs, from high school.
Yes. I performed at the Folk Club's concert under the banner of, God Bless the Grass. I was wearing a thick white beaded caftan and sang I Love the Pinball Machine Man's Daughter. Did I tell you all about the roses I bought her? That's the only time I ever had stage fright. I also sang Talking Dust Bowl Blues.
That was a controversial title for a folk festival.
The Folk Club sponsor got in trouble over that. I wrote about her in the song, I was a teenage folk singer, as, the Glee Club sponsor said, I sang off-key, in numerous, humorous, doomsday ditties, all devoid of Lee.